The front page of the Telegraph says, sweeping tax rises on a rough road ahead. How bumpy could it get?
We've got sweeping tax rises on the rough road ahead in the Telegraph, in the Express. Dire warning, higher tax on way to plug debt. I think what we're basically seeing here, Rosie, is a good old-fashioned softening up exercise ahead of that autumn statement on Thursday, the 17th of November. We were going to have a Halloween fiscal statement, but that was always a mistake, albeit a headline writer's dream. They've now pushed it to the 17th of November. And it's clear that even though there are signs the public finances are improving, because government borrowing costs have come down, the markets have calmed down, the pound's got a little bit stronger, which means that there should be a bit less inflation. We're still in a situation where the economy's slowing. That could lead to a big hole in the public finances, less tax revenue when there's less activity going on. And what Jeremy Hunt, happy birthday Jeremy Hunt, and Rishi Sunak are saying is that whereas under George Osborne, any fiscal adjustment, any hole you had to plug, about 80% of the plugging exercise would be spending cuts, and about 20% would be tax rises. They don't want to go for 80% spending cuts. They want to go 50-50. So about half the adjustment will be spending cuts, or actually they're generally slowdowns in the rate of increase in spending when it comes to the public finances. And the other part will be tax rises, with those most able to bear the burden, those with the broadest shoulders, taking the most weight of that adjustment.
So who, what, how much? Do we have any ideas on these tax rises?
Well, there's a manifesto pledge. Remember those that the Tories wouldn't raise the national insurance rate or the basic rate of income tax. Though, of course, Rishi Sunak broke that manifesto pledge when he raised the rate of national insurance. A reversal. The only part of the mini budget really which survived was reversing that rate of increase of national insurance. So I think it's going to come on other things. I do think there's going to be more in terms of a windfall tax on oil and gas producers in the North Sea. I do think there may be more taxes on the wealthy, maybe changing the amount of relief they get for their pensions and so on. I do think there could be a bit of a clampdown on the so-called non-dom status of some wealthy people who have links with overseas countries who are living in the UK and don't pay tax on their worldwide income. Of course, Rishi Sunak may want to do that for personal reasons because he's been criticised in the past because his wife, she didn't break any laws, but she was non-domicile, and now she's changed that because she thinks it's, quotes, the right thing to do.
Politically, that would work for him nicely, wouldn't it, to introduce that, raise a bit of money, and it works for him. How, taking all those measures into account, though, is that going to raise 50 billion?
No.
No.
I don't think it's going to raise 50 billion.
Or 25.
On the non-dom thing, it will raise hardly any money. In fact, it could cost us money because it may mean fewer big high-rolling investors actually base themselves in London. But it's a good bit of class war. Sunak can counter Labour saying that how can somebody who's so wealthy be in Downing Street, and so he can use that to sort of as a political shield. Look, I've never really bought these kind of big tax and spending adjustments as a way to correct the public finances. The way you correct the public finances is growth. And on that basis, Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng were right. Of course, they over-egged the pudding. They tried to do too much too soon. But it is growth. The rising tide lifts all boats. I think the government should be focusing on productivity, on skills, on those investment zones, which I do think was a good part of the Kwarteng-Truss policy proposal.
Because Michael Gove's going to... It sounds like he's going to bin them.
It may be. Of course, there's no love lost between Michael Gove and Liz Truss, and sometimes these things get personal. But it strikes me, unless we can get growth going, then trying to raise extra money by raising tax rates can be completely counterproductive. We know from when George Osborne lowered the top rate of tax, he actually raised more money. But, of course, that's politically anathema to lots of people. So these things are very, very difficult. But I do think we will see some tax rises in summary on the 17th of November. But I don't think they're going to be as bad as Sunak and Hunt are clearly briefing to the papers this morning.